Hello everyone, and welcome to game number 1 in our best of 5 series between Cubit32 and Saberman Gameslayer, aka GSG. This is going to be our third place match from the 2v2 Offworld Trading Company tournament, just something to be aware of. Both these players unfortunately falling in the semifinal, both these teams falling in the semifinal. Oh, interesting, we do have a robot going ahead and dropping on those combo tiles. Going to want to make good use of them if he can. I do like this, 3 metal mines instead of the standard 2 metal mines, 1 steel mill.
Scientific colony founded.
Man, and he's already expanded based off of that without Gameslayer even founding yet. That's particularly interesting. Now, I don't know if I have a solid prediction for this match. You can see that Saberman and Gameslayer are kind of sticking to their old strategy of running robotic plus expansive in this case. So it isn't robotic plus robotic, but they are still including that robot in there. Whereas Veivi and Cubit have elected to go for the scientist, who is just going straight into those 6 steel mills combined with the expansive player. Looks like everybody's found territory they should be reasonably happy with. Obviously, whoa, did we have a power surge going down already? Yes, we in fact did. All over all this aluminum and iron. Probably a solid decision. I mean, aluminum's already at $4, so that's not that big a deal. I don't expect it to stay all that important. I actually disagree with taking all 3 of these tiles. I think what would have been much better was just a triangle, like right here. A lot of iron and just enough aluminum to stay alive. Just something to think about. And you can already see that Gameslayer and Saberman are kind of falling a little bit behind. I do believe Gameslayer would have that upgrade if he elected to take it. But he is deciding to hold back for now, perhaps trying to get Saberman up to his next upgrade first, maybe to crank out that steel production even harder, is what I would expect to see, while Gameslayer just kind of hangs back, waits. He is not going to get a hold of that geotherm next to him, but he has managed to take another one on over, so that's a positive thing for him. Saberman has the upgrade, but he hasn't actually used it just yet. I'm kind of wondering... I find it likely that what's happened is they don't have enough iron to actually get those steel mills down just yet. Man, he's actually going into another bit of iron. Constant freezes already. This is exactly the kind of thing you need to avoid. Might have been too greedy to go for that upgrade. Could have sold down the steel, picked up a nice little goon squad, and with both EMPs and power surges available this game, not having access to that goon squad is going to be extremely painful while you try and keep your iron production online. Only goon squad that has been utilized this game is by Cubit, protecting one of his geotherms. And we can see Cubit isn't going to have to pay down a whole lot of debt with these in order to start actually making money. Amusingly enough, power's already going down, having peaked around like $91, $92, I believe. But still, these geotherms going to be making Cubit quite a bit of cash, and already Saberman and Gameslayer in a substantial amount of trouble here. With almost no tiles actually doing anything. We've got silicon pulling in a tiny amount of money, aluminum pulling in a tiny amount of money. Steel mills had to be shut off because the iron has just been getting attacked relentlessly. Finally, their iron tiles turned back on. Still no goon squad available for them just yet. I'm wondering if they're going to do anything about that. Try and actually push to it, or if they're going to focus on other things. For now, it looks like Saberman has elected to move on into glass. He is going to try and pull in that cash, and glass is good cash at the moment. No doubt about that. Plenty of glass has been getting purchased up, but unfortunately for them, Cubit's already kind of in there, trying to get that money. Cubit's already in food as well, collecting that money. Cubit's already in power, collecting all of that money. It doesn't leave a whole lot of doors open for Saberman and Gameslayer to just move on into, and they're getting punished once again. No goon squad. Goon squads are kind of important. They've got the cash for it too. 6,000 for that goon squad. It's most certainly worth it. They're just getting hit time and time and time again over here, and their most productive buildings, their mines, just constantly getting shut out. Wow. That was basically just a free tile on over to Veivi there, wasn't it? That's a little gross. Finally, Gameslayer has managed to make his way up to headquarter level 2. I'm wondering what he's going to do with that. It looks like he's heading straight into farms, which should be profitable even though he's pretty late to the party. He already had 1 geotherm taken. I don't think there are any more available to him on the map. Oh, there are. There's one up here.
Expansive colony expanded.
Cubit, of course, has the others already grabbed up for himself. Cubit has 3 geotherms online. And once again, they aren't like power doesn't look great right now. It's at $70 instead of like $150 or something like that. But still, $70 power with geotherms, that's $142 a tile. When you're not in debt, that's just straight cold hard cash for you. Cubit and Veivi are working through on this patent office. Finally, they also already have a protected pleasure dome down. The pleasure dome is not great. It has the chance to expand into something solid. Could get possibly up to 5 occupied habitats next to it. But for now, they're just stuck on the 2. But with virtual reality, and of course the fact that we do have a couple of expansives and a scientist in the game, that should end up being well worth it. Already $344 a second on that tile, minus the 86. That's still by far the best tile in the game at this point. Can't argue with the virtual reality play. Gameslayer seems to be losing an awfully large amount of money per second with his farms, whereas Cubit, he's purchased up all that water. He's good to go on that front. So his farms, I mean, I imagine he could even turn these off, or turn these back on and still be just fine because he has such a huge supply of water stocked up. I don't know if these actually need to be off right now. Regardless, everybody... Yeah, see, there you go. They would be profitable at this point. Just something to think about. I don't think Cubit needed to turn those off. Regardless, still a lot of money coming in for Cubit and Veivi. Look at the steel price. These guys are holding on to 540 steel right now. And I imagine they're going to be trying to use that to work with this hacker array and these shortages. There are 2 glass shortages on the way. Interesting that they elected to go for glass, considering Saberman and Gameslayer were already in that resource. I imagine they're just hoping that they can overwhelm the market, that they won't have a large supply of glass stored up. And it's a reasonable assumption. Certainly, only 2 glass furnaces working, that does not actually help. Whoa.
6,000, 7,000.
Well,
8,000.
Uneventful as that was, Gameslayer and Saberman gave it up.
12,000.
It's understandable. Kind of an anticlimactic end to that one, but Cubit and Veivi are going to take it. I can't disagree with them. I mean, realistically, they probably should have conceded as soon as that EMP came down on their iron. The power surge, maybe they could have lasted through. The EMP, not even a little bit. They were just stuck in the mud for so long. Cubit had enough money that after that glass shortage, they could probably just go after a buy right at that moment. And with Gameslayer and Saberman still back on headquarter level 3, they were just so ridiculously far behind. Already this boosted pleasure dome pulling in $800 a second minus power cost. So more like probably $750 to $700 a second from that pleasure dome. Oh man. And you're just not going to get past that. Not with the double hacker array going into shortages. Seems like Cubit and Veivi have picked up on the PB head roller strategy. Maybe not executing it as cleanly, but the basic concept is there. And so it'll be up to Gameslayer and Saberman to respond in game number 2.